Okay, so here we go with Chapter 5, Mad Love. And that's kind of an unusual title because we begin with this weird scenario of Greg and Wirt pretending to be a millionaire's nephews. And we don't know how they met up with him or how they convinced him of that, but he obviously is treating Greg and Wirt to dinner, as well as Fred the horse and Beatrice the talking bird. And so we have some significant things playing out. So let's begin with our setting. It's a day at a mansion of a wealthy tea millionaire. And they'll be moving about the mansion is an important part of the setting. The mood is a little bit more upbeat. Now, it gets a little bit eerie talking about ghosts and stuff to it, but it's not like really super scary or anything like that. It's mostly for humorous effect. And remember, again, within storytelling, what authors want to do is things get serious. Like last chapter, it was very ominous at the end, dealing with the beast and the woodsman and who they suspect the woodsman to be. By the way, another plot twist at the end is that they thought the woodsman was the beast, but then we actually see that the beast is someone separate. So it twisted off again at the end of that. We're dealing with all this darkness and seriousness. Like, lighten it up. Give us a break. And while they move the story forward, so it's not quite as intense all the time because it'll wear on you as an audience. So the mood is much lighter in this episode. So we have continued development of the characters. Beatrice and Wirt end up locked up in an armoire, like a closet space together, and so they share some things, which also reveal some foreshadowing. We have the information now that Beatrice was once human, and that she wants to be human again. So we see her insistence in going to Adelaide of the pasture. And we find out that Wirt has some dark secrets of his own. He plays clarinet and recites poetry to himself. There's a girl back home. And we begin to have the legend of Jason Funderburker given to us, and that'll grow later on. But anyway, in the process, where they'd kind of been at conflict with each other, they now kind of have a better understanding and appreciation for one another. Now, in the course of events of them being locked up and coming out the other side, one of the first plot twists that we begin to discover is that there's secret passages in this big mansion, and we get a hint that the millionaire who thought he didn't know some of the rooms in his house and thought there was a woman ghost around the house, we get a hint that Wirt's like, wait a minute, that's not what's going on. Now, part of the plot twist becomes that the woman, the ghost woman, is actually a real woman, and she's another millionaire, rich person, and they just built their houses so big that eventually they connected, and they didn't even realize that. So it kind of ends with a plot twist like that. Now, as far as foreshadowing, again, we have some information on Beatrice. We have some information on Wirt. That's going to be important later on, because why do we care if he plays clarinet? It's important when they get on the riverboat with the frogs, as well as some of the information toward the end of the story. We also have a little bit of development with Greg. At the end of the episode, Greg was given 2 cents by the millionaire and his girlfriend for being such a good boy, but he throws the cents into the wishing well, and here we have some incredible metaphors going on, many layers of figurative language and literal language. He throws the pennies into the well and says, he was wrong, he had me pegged wrong, I ain't got no sense. Okay, so it doesn't take any sense to throw the only money away that you needed, which was only 2 pennies, but you didn't have it otherwise. Secondly, you have no sense, C-E-N-T-S, because you just threw your money away. But it's because overall, Greg believes he doesn't have sense. And that's important to his development, because the first step in maturity and becoming an adult, so to speak, is to accept responsibility, especially responsibility for your own faults and flaws. And first, Greg has to recognize that he's not mature before he begins that journey. And so that's what we're going to see, where Wirt is growing in a journey of strength of character and courage, getting a backbone, so to speak. We see that happening with when he tackles the gorilla by accident, when he takes on the woodsman to save Beatrice. We see his growth beginning to take place. Now Greg's growth is also taking place as he begins to mature by taking responsibility. And that's going to be a theme we're going to see develop throughout the story. So, as far as plot twist, throwing the money away, and the lady being the not being a ghost, but actually being his competitor who he falls in love with, those are all that's some of the plot twists. We have immediate foreshadowing, and now we're going to have some permanent foreshadowing for later in the story as well. Thank you.